everyone, I'm Kana Taku. Today, I want to do the level 23 and 24 on this book about how to write more scholarly papers in English. The goal of level 23 is to make the cover letter because not all the journals require the cover letters, but still most journals want to see a cover letter. So we're going to write it. That's level 23. And then level 24, we will send our manuscript to our co-authors, or because English is not our first language, we may get some editorial kind of feedback or editing company. If you have funding, that would be the goal of level 24. So let's get started. So start with level 23. To do the level 23, I need to write a cover letter, which is very important. I sometimes did not really write a cover letter before, especially if the journal does not require the cover letter. That's not a good idea. This is an important opportunity for us to sell our idea or why we believe our paper is important. So just gonna put like APA cover letter. Then you should be able to see the link for the cover letter. So see APA style cover letters. So I usually use this one. So when you click it, you see the cover letters. So for us, it's hard to even like write a formal letter because I'm not used to it. So all I do is usually, I just want to double check like what kind of things I need to include in a cover letter, like a manuscript title, or the co-author's information. And then we want to say like, no conflict of interest, or all the authors, including co-authors, check the final manuscript, all those things. So I know it's a little bit too early, premature, because I haven't sent my manuscript to all co-authors. At least I already get their agreement, but so that's why like it's a little bit too early, but I wanted to prepare a cover letter now so that at least I have some draft. So here, in this link, it says sample cover letter for manuscript submission. So I usually use that. Then just gonna move it this way. Oops, this way. And then I have this one over here. Just move maybe here, there you go. And then this one over here. Oops. So now I have both here. So I'm just gonna start with the date. So I use the sample cover letter on the left-hand side and then my paper over right-hand side. So today is July 9th, 2022. Then I need editor's name here. When you go to like the journal, for example, whatever the journal that I wanted to do, say like Journal of Affective Disorders. Then I go to the Journal of Affective Disorders. Under below the title page, the title of the journal usually have editors-in-chief. So in this case, I can see like two researchers' names here. So I could add them here. If I wanted to submit our paper to the Journal of Affective Disorders, then it's going to be like editorial board. But I already have this one. So I'm just going to use this. Okay. The contact. No, I don't contact them, but I'm just going to add their name. I wanted to actually have that instead of just P. I wanted to have the actual that person's first name. I mean, like Google it, if this is the real cover letter. But usually just gonna put yes, the Chief of Journal of Affective Disorders. So now back to sample cover letter. So now I have this one. Then, dear Dr. Brown, something like that. You know what? This is just a sample letter that I'm simply recording as a YouTube video. So I'm just gonna put, instead of having the actual person's name, let me just put the dear Dr. Then say we are submitting a paper entitled Cross-Cultural and Within Cultural Differences and their associations with your journal, to the journal of something like that. No, the manuscript is pages long and includes 3 tables. I'm just using this sample on the left-hand side because left-hand side, you see the sample cover letter. So I use that one and then customize it. Instead of just use this numeric 3, I can spell it out, 3 tables, because I just noticed that they use 4 tables and then 2 figures. And we are submitting our paper as a masked format. Because I did not include any identifiable information in the text, so it should be masked format. If I have somebody on my mind to review my paper or not to review, I may mention it here because, for example, this sample cover that I include, I request that my ex-partner not be one of the reviewers. So that's an interesting idea. I've never done it actually, like in my whole career, but if I have it, then I may want to say it. So if I have someone, if I have a researcher who I do not want to review my paper, I can mention it here. But seriously, I've never done it, so I never actually requested any reviewers or not. Yeah, I did not really say it, so I may not say it. Sorry, I'm just giggling because I usually don't do it because when I write a paper, I really don't care like any researcher. I want everybody to read it, so that's why I don't have anything. So I'm done, and then the second paragraph, we should talk about if the data have been already published or used for any other manuscript or conference, that kind of thing. So some of the data that was used in the current study was a part of a larger project. The project called the part of that data was past tense, was published, for example. If that happens, it's actually not relevant to my paper, but just as an example, it was already published, say like in 2021. Then I can add citation or references here. And then that's usually like second paragraph. And then the third paragraph, I can kind of sell my paper. We believe our study can make a significant contribution because like no other studies done it, or we resolve one of the questions that was raised in the previous studies or something like that. Not just kind of setting the points because we were able to resolve one of them. Research questions that was identified in previous studies. That is by controlling for a confounding variable. We also believe this is the first study that assessed. Just kind of like explain the strengths of the paper, and then after that, just kind of like ethical standards. So like all APA ethical standards, ethical codes, guidelines were strictly adhered to when implementing this study. Like these kind of things, I feel like when we actually submit the manuscript, there are a lot of sections that we can actually click, like, yes, we agree or not agree. So that's why I feel like it's kind of redundant, but still, since APA is recommending, like, why not? No? So, and select my co-author. I have only one co-author, so my co-author and I declare no conflict interest. And then after that, I will be serving as the corresponding author for this manuscript. My contact information is as follows. I'm just going to add my phone number, address, phone number, email address, all the kind of thing. So that's it. Now I have the cover letter, and then all I have to do is just I'm going to add it, my name, and then maybe just sign it. No, yeah, sign it, and then I'm all set. Cover letter is done. So that was the goal of level 23. Once I'm done with the level 23, and then the level 24 is the editing services, and then working with co-authors. So here's just kind of what I'm careful about. Once I decide the main topic, I'm done with this, so I can now stop sharing. So once I decide the main results, I usually wanted to just get the first draft done as soon as possible. It's because if I take too much time to be super mindful for each sentence, to be perfectionist, it takes like a lot of time. And if it takes time, then I will forget what I wrote in the other sections. So once I have the results, I want to just get the methods, results, and the intro discussion done as soon as possible, maybe within a week or maybe two, usually 10 days. I just want to get it done. And that's where I am now. But because of that, this is very important for me to kind of sit back and then just leave it that way for another week or two. I'm not working on it, but I'm not going to submit it immediately. This is the important part. So usually, of course, I send this first draft to my co-authors. I just tell them that, oh, I just finally finished the first draft. Would you mind taking a look? Some people make edits. Others don't do anything. They just open the file and then close it and say, fine, Or some people just make the really intensive edit. Try not to care about it, Meaning all of the comments, of course, I am grateful. So just compile all of the comments. And if they don't have any comments, that's okay too. Still, just let it go and just wait. Because while I'm waiting, instead of just immediately making the submission, this 5 days, these six days a week, 10 days, I still kind of think about it back of my head. And then sometimes, oh, how about this study? Maybe I can cite it. Or why did I say that? Maybe I could just rephrase it in a more different way. Just kind of sometimes just ideas just pops up. That's why I just wanted to just give a little bit of time between the completion of the first draft and then the actual submission. Usually a week or two. Okay. So during that time, I can sometimes send the paper to say editing company if I have tons of money so that they can actually check, or I work with writing center of my university. I send my paper and then we sit down and then they get some feedback. Or sometimes I ask my research assistants or students in my lab and then ask them to proofread, so that they can find some kind of typo, grammatical errors. For people whose English is not the first language, this is very, very important. Because even if the contents are actually good, even if the results are interesting or all the logics are interesting, if it's hard to read because of all the grammatical errors then the papers are less likely to get accepted. It's simply because it's, once again, hard to read. And we don't want that to happen. So that's why this is a very important part. So now we are level 24. So instead of immediately submitting the paper just because you finished the first draft, just take time, send it to co-authors, send it to editing company, get the double check, ask somebody else to read it, just ask a bunch of people to read it, and then correct all of the grammatical errors. Maybe I read it too, even though I'm the one who wrote the first draft. Just give it a couple of days and then read out loud. Then I will be able to catch some of the grammatical errors. And why did I say this? No? Then I will fix it. Then that's it. That's the level 24. So after that, I have only one more level, which is level 25. That's the submission. So today, thanks for watching, and I'll see you when I work on the level 25. Bye.